Hello people, this is Sonali, the Melodramatic Bookworm. If you've been here before, welcome back, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to the Melodramatic Bookworm family. I'm here today with my first book haul of 2023, in which I talk to you about all the books that I've bought since moving to Sydney, Australia. Technically, this book haul should have been the last book haul of 2022, but I was waiting on a couple of books and I didn't want to wait like months and months before I talked about them in a new book haul. So I brought it into 2023 and I'm calling it the first book haul of 2023. There are 30 books that I want to share with you today, including review copies as well. So yeah, without any further ado, let's dive right into this video and let me share with you all the books that I got or bought since moving to Sydney, Australia. Okay, so the first couple of books that we got, we got it at very reasonable prices. One of which I got at $5, and that is like cheap over here. And that's a book that's everywhere. Okay, so the first book is How We Love by Clementine Ford. I've read this and it's really good. Clementine Ford talks about love and all the ways it manifests in our lives by talking about it in context of her life. This is a memoir and she talks about her relationship with her mother, her relationship with the other people in her life, how people came and left, and how her relationship with her son, and all of this forms a very sweet memoir about love, loving and relationships. It's beautiful. And the second book that we got along with this was the steal, you could call it, and that is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. This, I have no idea what it's about. I want to say this is about, but I realize I have no idea about, and I want to go in without knowing anything, because I feel like it's that kind of a book that if I go in blind, then I'm going to love it even more. I mean, not that reading the blurb has ever helped me with a book before, because I like promptly forget all about it. But yeah, this is a book that we got for $5, and I was like, look, it's just $5, I don't want to let it go. And then our 4 books that I've been going nuts about since I think 2021, because they are so good. The 4 books, the 4 volumes of the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. This is a story, a very heartwarming story about 2 teenagers falling in love, 2 teenage boys falling in love and discovering themselves as well as discovering things about each other. And it's the story of kindness and support and hope and love and courage. And Alice Oseman, they have covered so many things in these 4 books, and I'm so glad I have paperback editions of them now, because it's just beautiful. And I've done a full video in which I reread these books as well as watched the TV show, the TV series. So if you'd like to go check that out, link will be here as well as in the description box below. Go read this, by the way. These. Read. Next are 4 ebooks that I got because I wanted them for a video that I was doing earlier, the I read 13 books in 7 days video. I've spoken about most of these books in that video, so if you'd like to go check that out, link will be here as well as in the description box below. The first of these 4 ebooks is The Overcoat by Nikolai Gogol, in which the main character has an overcoat that is all frayed, so it's not going to save him from the cold. And now winter is coming and he needs a new one. So how he goes about getting this new one, how his life changes before and after that, forms this entire story. And now I'm a fan of Gogol. I want to read everything that he has written as soon as possible, because there's so much nuance to his stories. It's not just one-dimensional. He just adds so much to the character, to the world around the character, that it just blew my mind. Next is another classic that I fell in love with. It was one of my favorite reads of 2022, and that is The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. The edition that I read had 3 stories. The first one was The Yellow Wallpaper and then a couple of others. The Yellow Wallpaper is about women's health and how women are not taken seriously and how they are outright dismissed. This is one of the most spine chilling but also grounded in reality stories that I've read, and it's just fabulous. It makes me angry that things like this happen to women across the world. Why is the world like this? And then Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, and this was not a book that I read for that video, but this is the story of two men during the Great Depression. I think two white men during the Great Depression looking for work, and how they get by, I think, forms this entire story. And it was a good one, but I don't know, I somehow felt like the author's usage of certain racist slurs for being a product of its time is rather meh thing for me, because even though you are trying to be specific and you want to depict that time period as it came by, a white author doing that is a little icky to me. And then next is The Velveteen Rabbit by Marjorie Williams Bianco. This is the story of a velveteen rabbit who comes by into the household of a little boy, and he learns lessons from a veteran toy about how being loved is depicted, and how the more you are played with, it means that the more you are loved, the more, so something of that sort. And it's one of the most heartwarming stories I've ever read. It's like 10 minutes long. It will take you like 10 minutes to read, but it will leave a lasting impression on your mind, and it's just beautiful. I wish I had read this when I was a child, but better late than never. And then 3 more e-copies apparently, because I have no control over my impulses. But one is Cards on the Table by Agatha Christie, which I read for that video, and this is the story of Mr. Shaitana, who meets Poirot, we all know Poirot, at some gala of some sorts, and he tells him that he has a collection of murderers and that Poirot should come check it out. So Poirot accepts, and he goes, and they are playing, I think they're playing bridge. And during this whole game, there are 2 sets of people, but during this whole game, Mr. Shaitana is murdered. Now, Poirot, who is accompanied by police superintendent or commissioner, and there's a crime fiction writer, and there's a whole cast of people, and accompanied by all of these, he has to find out who murdered Mr. Shaitana. It's a fast-paced read. You'll get through it like this. It was good as all Poirot stories go, but it was not on the level of Orient Express or Roger Ackroyd. Anyway, I don't think it's fair to compare any Agatha Christie books or any book to those for that matter, because they are such classics. Next is Solitaire by Alice Oseman, and I have a copy of this back home. I was gifted this by a dear friend, and I thought that copy is so far back home in India, so I need a copy here that I can call mine, but which I won't duplicate. So I bought an e-copy. Solitaire is a story set in the Nick and Charlie's universe, the Heartstopper universe, I think, and it is told by Charlie's sister, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really remember the specifics, but I think it's told by Charlie's sister. Yeah, it's Alice Oseman, and every book that they have written or they will write, I want to read, and that's it. That's the whole story. Next is Alan Turing, The Enigma by Andrew Hodges. This follows Alan Turing's life, and how despite him accomplishing so many things, how him doing so much for the world and literally saving the world quite a few times, he was not appreciated enough during his lifetime. This is the book that the movie The Imitation Game is based upon, if I'm not mistaken. The movie starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Turing. I watched that movie, it was good, but I want to read the source. I want to read the more details about what exactly happened in Alan Turing's life, because my knowledge of what happened to him and what all he was responsible for, even though I know he's responsible for a lot, is quite limited. So that's why I went and bought this book. Next is one of my most anticipated book releases of 2022, which I bought, but I haven't read it yet. The book is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This is a story of a I think Chinese boy who gets adopted by a British couple, orphaned in Canton and brought to England by a mysterious guardian. Okay, not couple, by a mysterious guardian. Robin Swift thought Babel was a paradise. Babel is Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, and how things happen from after that. I made the mistake of going on Goodreads to see what was happening, and people are like, R.F. Kuang was taking out all the anger of all these centuries on white people. If you feel attacked. Anyway, I am super excited to read this, and I am even more excited because this is the subscriber pick for the month of February. Next is a book that I'm so excited to read. It's one of my most anticipated book releases of 2023, and that is Dust Child by Nguyen Phan Ke Mai. I'm really sorry if I botched that up, but this is the story of the children of Vietnamese women and American men, American soldiers, who during the Vietnam War they had relations, and then the men after the war they up and left, and these children are called Dust Children, and this is a story that follows, I think, one or a few of them. And I am so excited to read this, especially because the authors, The Mountains Sing, was one of my favorite books of 2022. The bigger reason is that her writing is beautiful. It is kind, compassionate, it's educational, it's informative, and it's a whole package, and the characters will stay with you. So that's why I'm really excited to read this, and it makes me even more excited that I am a part of the book tour, the blog tour for this book in March. Next is one of my most anticipated releases of 2022. Look, my words are not coming straight, but it's also by one of my favorite authors, poets of all time, like top 2. And you know who I'm talking about right now, and that is Nikita Gill, obviously, and the book is These Are the Words. See, the thing is, this book released in India in August, on August 18th. But in Australia, what happened was the whole publishing industry is some sort of it's in a time loop. Okay, so at first they said it's going to release in November, and then they kept postponing it 2 weeks by 2 weeks. First they said 23rd November, then 29th, then 13th December, then 27th December, and the like, and then finally I got it. Finally I got my hands on a Nikita Gill book, on the new Nikita Gill book, and I'm super excited. Okay, I should not. No, don't. Sorry. Do I have to say anything else? I don't think so, because I think you can see from my face how excited I am to get my hands on this, and I've been so wary of reading this, not because I won't like it, but because once I start reading this, I won't be able to stop, and then it'll be over. I've been waiting for this way too long for it to finish like this. But next are 3 books. Oh my god, 2 of which are so gorgeous, so gorgeous. I'll show you one by one. First one is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Look at this cover and look at this. And the second one is both of this we are getting it at get 2 for something price, and it's pretty reasonable over here, and for such editions. And the pages are so glossy. I don't think I will be able to get myself to annotate these as well, and even if I did, I think the ink would just slide off, so I'm not going to do that. But these are so pretty. I've always wanted to read The Secret Garden because I've First of all, I've seen it on so many lists. Second of all, I feel like, is it a children's classic or something? And I'm like, children's classics are some of the best literature out there. And Dracula, obviously, I mean, do I have to explain? I don't know how the story is going to go. I don't know the details to it, but knowing Dracula as a vampire is about the only thing I know. And that he's a count. And then when we were leaving the store, this was at the counter, and we picked this up. It's called Lying Beside You by Michael Robotham. It is a murder mystery, I think. Some crime thriller of sorts. 20 years ago, Cyrus Haven's family was murdered. Only he and his brother survived. Cyrus because he hid, Elias because he was a killer. Now, Elias is being released from a secure psychiatric hospital, and Cyrus, a forensic psychologist, must decide if he can forgive the man who destroyed his childhood. I mean, there's a lot more, but I think this is the gist, and I feel like this is super, super engaging and super gripping. Even the guy at the counter, I think he was the one who recommended this to us. He was like, this is one of my favorite books of 2022, and I'm like, sold. I mean, like, literally sold. And then two books that I'm so happy to have because of different reasons. One is The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. I'm really happy to have gotten my hands on this because it is illustrated. And I can't keep my hands off of an illustrated book because there's so much detail going on in here. This is what he remembers as he sits by the ocean at the end of the lane. A dead man on the backseat of the car, and warm milk at the farmhouse. An ancient little girl and an old woman who saw the moon being made. A beautiful housekeeper with a monstrous smile. And dark forces woken that were best left undisturbed. They are memories hard to believe, waiting at the edges of things. The recollections of a man who thought he was lost but is now perhaps remembering a time when he was saved. I didn't need to read that to get excited about this book, but okay, fine. And then a Jhumpa Lahiri, Interpreter of Maladies, the Pulitzer Prize winning book, the collection of short stories, and I finally have it in my hands. This was, I think, one of the only Jhumpa Lahiri books I didn't have in my collection, and now I do. And this has a similar print and color combination as my copy of The Namesake, so I'm even more excited for that. I don't know why. I want to say I'm super excited about reading this, but I don't think it will cover what my emotions are whenever I set eyes on this one. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And then I went to a bookstore recently which is called Gertrude and Alice Bookshop, and I got two books from there. One was on sale. It's called The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. This is Jeanette Walls' memoir, and I've heard amazing things about this memoir. I don't know the details of it. While Jeanette Walls was living on Park Avenue, covering the Academy Awards and attending black tie parties at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, her parents were living in an abandoned building on the Lower East Side. Rex Walls, her father, was an ingenious adventurer and a hopeless alcoholic. Her mother was an artist who abhorred domestic routine and the chores of motherhood. Why should I cook a meal that will be gone in an hour when I can do a painting that will last forever? It's astonishing, apparently. And the second book that I got there is, without any explanation, The Radleys by Matt Haig. There are a lot of books by Matt Haig I don't have because he has written like 40-50 books or something. But as soon as I spotted this on the shelf, I was like, I need to have that in my life. Because it's Matt Haig and for no other reasons. And I'm assuming this is about the Radley family or something. Next, I didn't buy here, but I got a friend to get it for me in India. She had gone book shopping and she found a hardcover of one of my favorite books of 2022. And she was like, look what I found. And I was like, what? Please go and see if there's another one. And the book I'm talking about is In Other Words by Jhumpa Lahiri. Do I have to say anything else? Because I feel like I've spoken so much about this book in 2022 that I feel like you guys must be sick and tired. But it is a book that's very close to my heart. It's a book that I treasure, that I enjoy, that I find myself in. So I just can't shut up about it, is what it is. Next are 2 e-copies. First is one of my most anticipated book releases of 2023, which released in early January, and that is Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. I got the Kindle edition because the paperback edition is a little expensive, but I feel like I don't have any other Talia Hibbert books and I wasn't about to start with this. If I got the physical copies, it might as well be the Brown Sister trilogy. But this is something that I'm super excited to read. I've spoken more about this in my most anticipated book releases of 2023 video. If you'd like to go check that out, link here as well as in the description box below. And the next one is The Problem of Increasing Human Energy by Nikola Tesla. Tesla wasn't taken that seriously in his life. His work was hijacked and etc, 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 and he was a genius. So when he's talking about human energy and what's going to happen if you keep increasing human energy, then I'm going to listen to him. So when I was casually scrolling through the Kindle ebooks list, trying to find a book because I wanted to round off the number to 30, I found this one, and it's pretty cheap, by the way. It's about 30 rupees or something on Kindle. So I'm super excited to read this. I don't know when I'll get to read it, obviously, as always, but yeah, that's another one. And then there are a bunch of review copies. I'll start from the very beginning, but I've done detailed reviews of these books in previous wrap-up videos or on Instagram. So if you'd like to go check them out, I'll leave the links to those posts, or if there are videos, then to those videos in the description box below. First up is A Trip to Remember by Aditya Chaudhary, and then there is The Gods Are Not Dead by Abhay Dev. The Gods Are Not Dead, I think I've done a video review of it. If you'd like to go check that out, link here as well as in the description box below, as I mentioned before. And then there is Frank Carter Chapter 4 by Yashesh Rathod, Kamal by Adhyatam Avasthi, and yeah, those were the review copies. Yep, so that wraps up our book haul. So wait, let me just collect the books together and put them so that I can hold them up for you. 1 second. No. This thing is falling. Please don't fall. My favorite authors. Okay, time for the truth. So, okay, hold on. These. So those are all the books plus the e-copies that I bought since moving to Australia. Which of these books have you read? Which ones do you want to read? Which ones catch your eye? And which books have you bought in recent times? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, please like it and share it to spread the word. And if you like my content and would like to see more from me, don't forget to hit subscribe and click on the bell icon beside the subscribe button to get notified as and when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, keep reading, keep watching, and add melodrama to your life.